Hey Steppers, I just wanted to get together with you today and talk a little bit about the first step. I think this one is the most important, although we know that, but it's the most important with regard to how we start. And starting correctly is the most important part, because once we commence in a direction, it sets us on a course that leads to a very specific destination. Now, I know a lot of people, when they talk about the first step, I hear it all the time in meetings. All they focus on is, oh, I'm powerless over this and I'm powerless over that, and they focus on unmanageability. It's obvious that our lives are unmanageable, or else we wouldn't end up in a meeting. Nobody wakes up in the morning and shaves, oh, it's a great day to go pick up a white chip, and start over. So we didn't get there from eating peanut butter, obviously. We got there because our lives were completely corrupted, and it was, for many of us, the last house on the block. So with that in mind, I just wanted to address how we start. And I don't know about this corrupted thinking. A lot of people issue that insult, oh, well, your best thinking got you here. But think about that statement. Your best thinking, if your life wasn't working and you wanted to stop, and you managed to find a 12-step meeting, and you found out where it met, and you got in your car or you got a ride, you made all the arrangements for transportation, you drove across town, you got out of the car, you walked inside, and you found yourself in a meeting. You found a way out. That thinking is not as corrupt as some people might want you to believe. Your thinking is not that bad. So I'd rather build on strength than on weakness. And that's the whole point with the first step, because it also says we admitted we were powerless. Our lives had become unmanageable. So they're using that in the past tense. Now, they had the English language at their disposal. They could have used any words that they wanted, but they used those specific words, I believe, on purpose. So the principle, as I understand it, is honesty. So we have to admit to our innermost selves that we suffer from this allergy, this problem that once we start, we can't stop, or we don't know where we're going to end up. So the best solution is to stop completely. Now, the direction we head, the pinnacle of honesty, the very summit, the very top of honesty, the highest form of honesty is truth. And the truth is, we always have the ability to make decisions. Who decided to go to that meeting? Who decided to get out of the car? Who decided to walk in? Who decided to sit down? Who decided to get up at the end? Who decided to pick up a white chip? Who decided that this is the path we want to start on? We have to take responsibility for that, and those are good decisions. That's good thinking. So I like to focus on that. If you're looking for a way out and you managed to find one and you took some action on it, you're already commencing in the right direction. So let's build on that. I imagine it or conceptualize it like this. Let's just say you're in Miami, Florida, and your destination is Seattle, Washington. And if you've ever been to Seattle, it's beautiful. It's cool Pacific breezes and cascading tulips off of mountains, and the streets are clean and everybody speaks English. It's just a beautiful place, really pristine town. But you get into this plane in Miami, and it taxis off the tarmac and onto the runway, and it commences to take off. Now, the navigator for this airplane is the co-pilot. And the co-pilot has never calibrated his compass to true north. Now, on a compass, there are 360 degree points representing a full circle. His compass is off by just 3 degrees. Now, 3 degrees in relationship to 360 degrees is minuscule. It's minute. It's insignificant, right? It's just a little bit. But remember, as soon as this plane takes off, it's off course just a little bit. And the nature of angles dictates that when you're a little bit off course at the beginning, the further you go, the further off course you get. Now you're headed for Seattle, Washington, but because of that 3-degree trajectory miscalculation, the plane lands at the designated time, the passenger gets off, never been to Seattle, but he looks around and it's not cool Pacific breezes, it's hot as hell. It's not pristine and clean and cascading tulips off of mountains. No, no, no. It's hot as hell. They're in the middle of the desert and everybody's speaking Spanish and they're parading around saying, oh, isn't Seattle beautiful? Really, you're in Tijuana, Mexico. Because over time and distance, the further you go, the further off course you get, you land in a very different place. Now, many people start their program focused on, I am powerless and my life is unmanageable. And that's not what the step says. It says we were powerless. Our lives had become unmanageable. We can make better decisions. Now, if we commence in this program with the paradigm of powerless and unmanageable, we'll probably end up in a place that's not called spiritual awakening. We'll end up in Tijuana. We want to go to this place called spiritual awakening where it's beautiful and pristine and, gorgeous. We want to have happy, joyous, and free lives. So we start with honesty, the pinnacle of honesty being truth. And the truth is we can make decisions. And right away, in step 2, they're telling us what to believe. They're telling us what to believe. That's another decision. The last bastion of personal freedom is the ability to make a choice. And here at the very beginning of the program, they want us to honestly assess, have we lost the ability to decide? There are those too who suffer from grave emotional disorders, and many of them can recover if they have the ability to be honest. Be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, can I still make decisions? And I submit to you that you can, and you will. So I tell you at the very beginning, let's start off right. We're taking some of what God gave us right from the beginning, taking responsibility for it, and setting our course properly through honesty and truth. Think about that for a minute and ask yourself those questions. Who is doing it for you? See, because you have that ability. You have that ability to decide for yourself. God gave you that. It's not God's responsibility. He don't want it. He loves you so much, He gave it to you so you could take responsibility for it and learn how to access His power. You may not have all the power, but you have access to the one who does. We'll talk about that more later. Anyway, the only way out is through radical change. We'll talk about step 2 soon. Take care.